Hello students, myself Neha Patel. Welcome back to the VPMP Polytechnic YouTube channel. Once again I am here with another video of programming in C++. My today's topic is of Unit 3, Constructor and Destructor, and we will see concept of constructor and destructor in this video. So the objective of today's session is to know about the concepts of constructors as well as destructors in C++. Friends, as we know, in a class there are two types of members. First one is a data member and second one is a member function. The constructor and destructors both are special type of member functions of a class. Let's see the first one, constructor. A constructor is a special member function of a class which initializes objects of a class. We can say a constructor is a special member function which is used to assign values to the data members of a specific object. In C++, constructor is automatically called when object is created. That means whenever we declare object of a class, at the time of declaration of the object, the constructor is called automatically. And we can say it is a special member function of a class because its name is same as the class name. Let's see how the constructors are different from the normal member functions in C++ classes. The first one, we can say that constructors have same name as that of the class name. So in the naming they are different from the normal member function. The second one is constructors don't have return type. Yes students, constructors do not return any value, so we do not need to specify return type for the constructors. The third difference is a constructor is automatically called when we create object of that class. If we do not specify any constructor in our C++ class, then compiler simply generate a default constructor for that class and which does not pass any parameter as well as it has empty body. Now let's see the example of constructor. In this program I have one class integer. It has two data members, integer A and B, and in public section there is one constructor. Its name is same as a class name, that is integer, and in its body we have initialized data members A and B with values 10 and 20. After that, in that class we have one normal member function, that is put data. Put data function will display the value of data members A and B. Now let's see, in a main section we have created two objects of the class integer, that is I1 and I2. After that we called put data member function using object I1 and I2 one by one. Now from main section we can see that I1 and I2 object does not call a constructor function explicitly. So we did not write any calling instruction. Now let's see the output. See, we get 4 lines of output. First 2 lines, value of A is 10 and value of B is 20, is display as we declared integer I1 object, and next 2 lines are display for integer I2 object. Now let's see. We did not call explicitly the constructors, but as we know the constructors are called automatically when we create the objects. So whenever we write this line integer I1 comma I2, the constructor for both of these objects is called. That's why we get the default values for data members A and B for both of the objects I1 and I2. Now let's see the characteristics of the constructors. The first one is they should be declared in the public section, as they are called automatically when the objects are created, and objects can access only the public members of a class. We should declare constructors in a public section. They do not have return types, not even void, and they cannot return values. That means there is no need to specify return data type for the constructors, as well as because they do not return any value. The next thing is they cannot be inherited. Though a derived class can call the base class constructor. The constructors in inheritance will be discussed in our next unit's videos. The next topic is, like other C++ functions, they can have default arguments. Yes friends, as we know in unit 2 we learn about the functions with default arguments. Same way we can have default arguments in constructors also. The constructor with default argument will be discussed in our next video sessions. The next topic is constructors cannot be virtual. Here the constructors in polymorphism can be discussed later. Then next, they cannot be referred by their addresses, and they make implicit calls to the operators new and delete when memory allocation is required. So students, this is all about the constructors concept in C++ classes. In next video session we will know more about the types of constructors with examples. Now let's see our next objective of today's session, that is destructors. As we know that now that constructor is a special member function of a class, same way destructor is also a special member function of a class which is having a same name as that of a class name. But there is a small change between a constructor and destructors, and that change is we have to first of all write a tilde symbol before writing the name of a destructor. That means a destructor is a member function whose name is same as the class name, but it is preceded by a tilde symbol. Also, a destructor never takes any arguments or they never return any values. Friends, a constructor can have arguments, but a destructor cannot take any argument. So this is how destructor is introduced in C++ classes. Now let's see when it is called. As we have seen in our previous example, how the constructors are called. How they are called? They are called automatically when the object of the class is declared. Now when the destructor function is called, they are called automatically whenever the object goes out of its scope. That means if we declared an object in any function or in any program or in any block, or we are destroying that object with delete operator. So in all of these situations the object is going out of its scope, so the destructor is called automatically. How they are different from the normal member functions? destructors have same name as the class preceded by a tilde symbol, while normal member functions cannot have same name as that of a class. The second difference is destructors don't take any argument and they don't return any value, while normal member functions can have parameters and they can return values. The third difference is there can only one destructor in a class. In normal member functions, we can have more than one normal member function in a class. We can have more than one constructor in a class, but we cannot have more than one destructor in a class. If we do not specify any destructor in a class, then compiler creates a default destructor for that class. Also, the default destructor works fine unless we have dynamically allocated memory or pointers in a class. That means, students, if we allocate dynamically memory for objects with new operator, or if we are using pointers with objects, then we should write a destructor to release the memory before the class instance is destroyed. So this is all about how destructors are different from the normal member functions. Now let's see the example in which we will see the use of constructor as well as destructor in a same program. So students, here I am having a class integer. It is having one static data member, that is count. It has one default constructor which increment the variable count by 1 and then display its value so that we can know how many objects are created with this constructor. And after that we are having one destructor which simply decrement the count variable and display the number of objects remaining after exiting the scope. Now, as we declared count as a static data member, so here we defined a count variable and initialize it to the 0. That means there is no object still created in a program. So, in main section, I simply started a block and declared one object I1 in that block. After the declaration of I1 object, once again one more block I have created, and in that block, in that inner block, I declared two objects I2 and I3. After declaration of these two objects, I simply close both of the blocks. Now, let's see the effect of constructor and destructor on this creation of the objects. So friends, see the output. In first 3 lines, as we create objects one by one, they are accessing the constructor automatically, and constructor function increment the count variable one by one. So, whenever a first object is created, that is I1 is created, the first line of output will be generated, that is number of objects created is 1, as we have count is equal to 1 in our constructor body. Then next, when I create I2 and I3 objects, I get next 2 line of the output, that is number of object created is 2 and 3. After that, as we are completing the scope of the objects I2 and I3, so we get the output number of objects remaining 2 and number of objects remaining 1, as I2 and I3 objects are getting out of their scope. and at the last I1 object is getting out of its scope, so it will call the destructor and destructor will display the remaining number of objects by the value of count variable. So this is how we can test how the constructor and destructor works for the objects automatically. I hope you find these topics interesting. Keep learning C++. Thank you.